guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first one is titled, "You have to work here, you're a woman." Let me start off with a few things. First, that I did in fact look like an employee. Second, although I am in my early 30s, I am often mistaken for someone just out of high school, college freshman. Third, even though this happened literally an hour before I am posting this, all quotes are to be understood as to the effect of, and not exact wordings. Also, names have been changed to protect the guilty. My local hardware store is full of helpful hardware folks, which means there is not much of a uniform, but floor associates wear bright red vests and managers wear business casual with a name tag. I was wearing khakis, flats and a cute red micro plaid button up top. I was on my way home from a blissfully short day at work, so I figured it would be a good day to get some tools to make some simple repairs, and some materials for a remodel that my partner and I have going on in our second floor bathroom. I was trying to get a couple of items from the top shelf, but only being a touch over 5 feet 4 inches, 1.65 meters, tall, I have a little bit of an issue, especially since they are the last two on the shelf. I managed to get the first one batted into my hand, but the second one is pushed back just enough that I can't exactly reach it. Enter Jethro. Jethro walks over, and with a, "Let me help ya, missy," grabs the box I am trying to reach and hands it to me. Thanks, I keep my praise short because I am not sure if he is just trying to be good guy and help me, or if he is of the train of thought that a woman does not belong in a hardware store, except to be a cashier, or arm candy for their husband. He wastes no time removing any doubt. I can't believe they would make you pull items and not let you have a step stool. "Oh, no sir, I don't work here," I start, only to be cut off by Jethro. "You have to work here, you're a woman. What else would you be doing in a hardware store?" Jethro says, "And why doesn't Jeb work here anymore? That old boy was one of the best, blah blah blah." I honest toned him out at this point. I roll my eyes, figure I don't have time for this and start to push my cart away from him. This spurs a bellow from the depth of Jethro's beer belly, "Don't you walk away from me. I'm a paying customer." I spin on my heels. "Listen here, Billy Bob, Joe Danny Frank. I understand your original confusion, unfortunate fashion choice on my part, but I already told you. I do not work here. Thank you for getting the blubs for me, but really, I do not work here. I am here because I am remodeling my bathroom." I yell back at him. His tone instantly changed to this sickly sweet, implied, "Bless your heart," with every line as he said, "Redoing your bathroom? Well, I just happen to be a contractor and I can help you with all the permits," he says before giving me a long hard leer, like I was a gorgeous porterhouse steak, cooked to medium rare and ready to be devoured. "And I'm sure we can come to an agreement that will make it both worth our whiles." Instant mouth vomit, figuratively of course. But before I can say, or spew anything, enter the hero of our story. Ben. A few things about Ben. Ben is an imposing wall of muscle. Literally, was a bricklayer for years, before he retired and then agreed to help his friend, the owner of this store. Ben may look like he could rip the arms off of a Sasquatch, but he is a gentle giant. Ben pulls a move straight out of the Karen handbook, and clears his throat, getting both Jethro and me to look over to Ben. "Jethro, you know darn well that Jeb was fired because he shared your misinformed, misguided and misconceived notions on who should and should not be allowed in this store. This is the early 20s, but not the 1820s. I've had enough of your racist and misogynistic bullcrap to last me a lifetime. Set your cart down and walk away. You are no longer welcome here," Ben said with a barely concealed rage. Jethro started with the, but Wells and Ben cut him off with a curt and authoritative, "No, you leave now, or the police will come and make you leave." And with his ego massively deflated, Jethro left. I was able to finish my shopping without any further molestation, after Ben apologized a couple of times, and we did have a good laugh about the fact that I did look like an employee. The next one is titled, "Karen mistakes me for a bank employee, proceeds to attempt to rob the bank and gets arrested." Background. About 20 years ago I worked for a company that made software for banks and credit unions. Two smaller regional banks merged, and we were called in to upgrade all the branches for the same version of software and to point the network to the new consolidated bank. This happens after hours so as to not interfere day-to-day operations. The whole process took several hours on site at each branch. So, we were sure we would have plenty of time to roll things back if anything went wrong. We started a few hours before the bank closed. This would give us time to fix anything before the bank opened the next day. The process started with a meeting to go over the plan for the branch so the bank staff, some of whom would be helping with the process because my team doesn't have complete access to the bank systems. This is a small bank, there's 4 offices, a conference room, and space for like 5 tellers up front. It turned out it was payday for some large employer or something, but just as I started my meeting with the branch manager, the 2 staff from my company and the 2 bank employees who would be opening the bank the following day, the bank starts to get really busy. The meeting lasts about 30 minutes and all the while the line and waiting area is filling up, so I rush through the details for the bank manager and release him, then the 2 opening staff. I leave the details for my team for last. My team knew the process, they just needed to know what computers to start on first. Anyway, I dismissed the bank staff, and they go to help the rush up front, and I continue my meeting with my team, then send them out to get some food since it looks like the bank might not close on time anyway. I head over to the bank manager's office and immediately a woman ducks under the rope line and makes straight for the office and tries to follow me inside. I didn't see her step out of line, so I at first thought maybe she was a bank employee. As soon as I turned around she said something like, "It's about damn time, I've been waiting for half an hour." This was bullcrap because we started the meeting at 4:30 and it wasn't even 5 o'clock yet. I tried to tell her she was mistaken, I don't work at the bank, but she cut me off, not even paying attention to what I was saying. She plopped herself down in one of the chairs and said, "I need to make a withdrawal." I replied, "Sorry, I can't help you with that, you'll need to wait in line." "No, I've already waited for an hour. I know you can do it, you've done it before." She slaps her ID and bank card on the desk and says, "Just open the damn drawer and give me $2,000. I can't. I could even finish explaining I don't work there. "Bullcrap, you've done it before. Give me $2,000. I can't. That's it." At this point she's raised her voice and is now standing. I assumed she was going to leave, and I went to open the door, but she pushed me back and yelled, "I'm not leaving this office until you give me $2,000. She then picked up a screwdriver out of the toolkit sitting on the desk and starts prying at the desk drawer. I push her back and she swings at me with the screwdriver. I step back but she scratches my arm, tearing my shirt, and goes back to prying at the drawer. I've had it at this point. I'm thinking she's nuts, and I need to do something. I look out the office and it looks like everyone is busy and think maybe they didn't notice her yelling. It looks like she's not making any progress on the desk, it's too sturdy. I try a calmer approach and try to get her attention. She stops for a moment and looks at me like she forgot I was there. "Are you going to get me my money or what?" she snapped. "I'm not an employee of the bank." "Bullcrap. You were just in the meeting with the other employees." "Yes, but then get me my money or get out of my way," she interrupted before pushing me again. I finally had it. I looked out the window and it seemed like all the bank employees were calm and quiet. I thought, duck if I'm just going to stand here and watch her rob the bank. She was a big woman, but I played hockey against bigger, so even if she had a few pounds on me I was pretty sure I could at least slow her down. I took a step back, brought my shoulder down, then with a step and a short lunge I shoulder checked her into the brick wall behind her. She smacked her head on the wall, gave a short whumph as I knocked the wind out of her, and then she collapsed to the floor unconscious. I watched her suspiciously for a moment, thinking that was easier than I thought. Why didn't I do that earlier? Then I thought, maybe I hurt her, so I knelt down to check on her. She was breathing. I shouldn't move her. The screwdriver flew across the office, so I just stepped over her and walked out into the bank. About that time, I heard sirens, lots of them. A short while later some police came into the bank. Having just assaulted a woman leaving her unconscious, I put my hands up. The police walked over, looked at me, then walked into the office. I turned around and the bank staff were pointing at the office where I just left. Evidently they triggered the silent alarm as soon as she yelled at me to give her money. They moved the other customers to the conference room, and were following protocols to comply and not interfere. The end result was she woke up to being handcuffed. She was seen by an EMT briefly before being arrested for armed robbery, kidnapping, and assault. The screwdriver from the toolkit was taken as evidence, and we teased my tech for the next few years. "You get your screwdriver back yet?" She came in for $2,000 and left with 5 to 10. She spent 4 years in prison. As an assault victim in that state, they notified me when she got out. The next one is titled, Lady Snatches Dinosaur Model Out of My Hands. So, I was heading to a toy store, name redacted for privacy's sake, because they had informed me that they had the new Coelophysis model made by Safari Limited. I didn't have that model in my collection, and I usually order my models there, and I have a good enough relationship with the store workers to let me know when a certain model on my list is available. Or sometimes I prepay them to have a certain item in stock and they have always provided. So I go into the store, wearing a red shirt because I felt like it, and normally the toy store workers wear red, but they have tags on. So, you know where this is going. So, I enter the store and ask if they have the Coelophysis and they point me in the right direction, since in this case it wasn't one of the models I prepaid them for. So, I see the Coelophysis among other models, it wasn't the only one, and I get my hands on it. When I take it off the shelf, a lady says to me, "Oh thank you, I can take it from here." I turn around and see this lady that looks like she is in her late 30s holding out her hand to me, expecting me to just plop the dinosaur in her hands. I was looking confused for a moment, and then she got frustrated and asked me if I was hard of hearing. I asked why she wanted me to hand over the model I wanted, and she asked what I meant, I was an employee. I suddenly got her assumption and told her that no, I don't work here, I was just a customer. She fumed and pointed out that I was wearing the same shade of red as the workers. I responded that red is not exclusive to this store, and if she would excuse me, I was going to purchase the Coelophysis. She then got intrusive and started asking why an adult would collect dinosaur models. I responded that people are allowed to have hobbies and tried to move on. Apparently not satisfied with my answer, she blocked me, and freaking snatched the Coelophysis out of my hands and went to the counter. I was about to shrug my shoulders and grab the spares, not wanting to escalate until I realized that she had also taken the other Coelophysis models on the shelf. The other remaining models were of Brachiosaurus and Microraptor, by the way. A little bit infuriated at this, but keeping my calm, I went to the counter and asked her to give it back and told the people at the counter that she had snatched the model out of my hands. They asked her if it was true and she actually told the truth, but only because I was being a bad employee, lying about wanting the model for myself and not providing good customer service. Now the counter workers, who had seen me enough times as a consistent buyer, pointed out to the lady that I wasn't a worker and she got huffy. She then said that she was the proper purchaser, because she was getting them for her kid, while an adult shouldn't be playing with toys, that maybe if I wasn't collecting them I would properly become an adult. So, one of the counter workers called the store owner, who came to ask what was going on. After explaining, he had a frown on his face and went to check the security footage. After seeing that she had snatched it out of my hands and had escalated the situation, he ordered her to give me my Safari model or he would have her ousted from the store. Now the store owner is a big guy, so she withered under his gaze a bit and gave me my Safari. I calmly thanked her, I really didn't want to have to deal with her any further, and the store people, but I will admit, I did enjoy seeing her crumple at the sight of a very annoyed burly guy. And now I have a Coelophysis in my collection. The next one is titled, I was an inconsiderate employee glued to my phone. Literally just happened. I was browsing this subreddit to kill time since I'm having new tires mounted on my car. The club store that I'm at doesn't have a waiting area currently, their waiting area is an online order storage, holding space. I found an empty aisle nearby and found something sturdy to lean against while I wait for my installation. An older woman was pushing her cart down the aisle while on the phone. I overhear her say, "It's impossible to get any help here." Volume of her voice goes up as she's passing. All the employees are too busy glued to their phones. I didn't think much of it since I'm clearly not an employee. The employees wear black shirts, and a blue vest complete with store logo. I have a gray Guinness beer t-shirt on. The lady had passed me and made it to the end of the aisle. I'm not sure if she was expecting me to pick up on her hint. She turned around and walked up to me, almost hitting me with her cart, and tells me, "Would it be too much trouble for you to put your phone down and do your job? When you see a customer in need you're supposed to help them out. That's what you get paid for." No shouting, but she did raise her voice loud enough so you can hear her over all the other customers talking. I begin to tell her, "I'm sorry. Lady. Sorry, wheel you should be. I've been walking around trying to find disposable plates and platers and there's no one willing to help. Why is it so hard for you people to do your jobs?" Me. I don't work here. I'm waiting for my car to be serviced, motioning to the tires and battery center signage. If you're looking for the plates, they're 2 or 3 aisles over. At that point, she actually took the time to look at what I was wearing. With a face that looked it was holding back frustration or embarrassment, she said, "Thank you," and walked away. The next one is titled, Late Night Grocery Store Shenanigans. I went to the grocery store to pick up some Jell-O for my dad, who is having a procedure on Tuesday and can't eat solids until after. Sucks to be him. I was wearing my work clothes, gray polo with the logo, black pants, sneakers, and not carrying my purse. I find my things, go through self-checkout, and am on my phone to text my dad that I got his Jell-O, heading for the door when I hear a voice. "Where do you think you're going?" I turn to see the manager standing there looking at me. Me. "Excuse me? I didn't say you could go home yet." Me. Visibly confused, "I don't really need your permission?" You definitely need my permission. Your shift isn't over until 1, it's 11:15. Me. "I don't work here." Shocked, "What?" Me. "I was just here to buy Jell-O," holds up bag and receipt. He apologizes profusely and explains that he's new, it's his first night and he hasn't met all the employees yet, and he assumed I was one of them. I asked him what made him think I worked there, and he said the way that I moved with a purpose was like I was working. I told him I've been shopping at that store for over 20 years, so I just know where I need to go for things. He looked super embarrassed, and I felt a little bad for him. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and write a comment. I really appreciate your support and it helps my channel so much. Thank you.